Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Global Industry Spotlight. My name is Daniel Crane, and I am the Program Director for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. The Global Industry Spotlight is a conversational series focused on providing resources and insight for the creative entrepreneur. We are streaming live out of the Comcast Business Startup Studio, a room designed by Chicago's small business community located at 2112, Chicago's first music, film, and tech incubator and creative hub. We're excited today. So we hit many different sectors. We talked to people from, the music industry, from the tech industry, and today I'm excited about our guest from the film industry. Today's guest is Sophia Wong Boccio, the founder and executive director of Asian Pop-Up Cinema, a non-competitive film festival that strives to provide a diverse, all-inclusive film festival for everybody in America to learn about the Asian cultures through the stories told by the filmmakers. Asian Pop-Up Cinema's mission is to bridge East and West and foster appreciation for diverse Asian cultures through film. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Let's bring in Sophia. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, everybody. So
Thank you.
excited.
Yeah, it's great, and I'm looking forward to hearing, about your story and Asian Pop-Up Cinema today. Sophia and I first connected through the Hong Kong Trade Development Council's series where we talked about Asian film. And it was really great hearing about Sophia's work. So just to get started, Sophia, let's just hear a little bit about your background in film leading up to starting Asian Pop-Up Cinema.
How much time do we have?
We'll be here for a couple days, and just make sure that we'll get some tea or whatever and water, and we'll keep talking. But yeah, give us a little bit of the story.
Well, I think anybody knew already. I was born and grew up in Hong Kong with parents working in the film industry. My father was a film editor, and my mom was an actress. They represented the first generation of Hong Kong cinema from the 50s through 70s. Well, I was surrounded by all these famous, legendary film people. I never took much notice, except they were just like extended families and friends. I myself took on a completely different path and entered the international corporate world as the chief executive of a multinational bulk commodities trading firm in China. And I worked and lived in Beijing as an expat for the entire 80s. But then something happened. I met a guy from New York. We fell in love and we got married. So we moved to New York closer to my husband's families while he pursued his MBA. And I interned at a small PR firm and learned everything from scratch about PR and marketing for 2 years. That was most valuable experience of my professional career or advancement. Then in 1992, my husband and I got recruited and back to work in Beijing again. This time I had another country director job representing the US wheat industry. So it's very different, And during my free time, I created a bi-weekly film event in Beijing. And this was when Sophia's Choice was born. So talking about entrepreneuring, enterprising, that was probably my first enterprise. Mm-hmm. We show films like Farewell to My Concubine. I invited the young Beijing opera singers who played the young version of the two main characters in the movie. And they came and did a Q&A with us. And then they perform on stage live for us. I show film like Peking Duck Restaurant. We all know and heard about Peking Duck Restaurant. I think one of us ate them. In fact, I took my nephews when we were in New York this past Christmas Eve. We did the Christmas story thing. We did Peking Duck for great. Christmas Eve in New York. So anyway, these are all true story with a lot of strong cultural elements of Chinese history. And it was then sort of set the tone and the program. And I did that for 2 years. It was a bi-weekly event staged in at the time was Lufthansa Chinese, actually under the Lufthansa Hotel in Beijing, the German joint venture hotel. And I did that for 2 years. So a lot of people, a lot of expat or diplomat friends knew me then as that Sophia.
Right.
So I'm very happy that it was after 23 years, Sophia's Choice was reborn in Chicago under the biennial film festival, Asian Pop-Up Cinema. The goal for me is always the same. We will be the bridge, bringing the East and the West together. And probably I'm better and showing, Asian film to the foreigners than the other way around, right? So that's it. So that's how it started.
Yeah. And so I have a couple of questions just about, it's quite an extraordinary story, with having moved to New York and worked really heavily in the corporate world in a totally different, obviously, sector. So you mentioned when you were talking about how the marketing really helped you with kind of the work you're doing today. Can you talk a little bit about, specifically what kind of marketing and things that just or ideas helped with you building Asian Pop-Up Cinema?
Well, I think I learned a lot is that PR marketing is most effective when it's very targeted. You have to know your audience.
Right.
You have to know your niche. You have to know what is your best pitch, what draw people to that particular film,
right,
and what's not. Almost like when you market this film to this group of people, they probably not liked by anybody else besides this group. So every film has its own appeal, has its own angle or approach, I would say. Sometimes it's the actors, the performance. Sometimes it's the story that have a social element is important. But the main thing is I always look for the common humanity that is relevant between the East and the West, that we can all, respond to it.
Right.
So you don't want to send somebody to a film and then after 2 hours, they felt like they were totally cheated because they couldn't get into it.
Right.
So I try not to make it too high eyebrow, just for the film critics to watch. I want it to be more for common, ordinary people to watch.
Yeah, it's the human experience. We're all looking for that. We're all looking for that connection. I know in my own work, that's really important. So it's great to hear someone else say the same thing. It's really about how we can create these experiences that bridge us together. Because we all have a lot of similar experiences, and obviously you can see that in films. So transitioning into kind of your audience as you've built it up. How does your audience find you, or how do you find your audience when you started to do the seasons and build up the film festival?
Well, I think one thing I took the plunge right away. When I make a commitment to do something, even though it was 2015 in the fall, right? My first season, I only showed 10 films. I staged it in different places. I really tested out with my first season and see how people responded to it. I end up having a film director from Japan coming for the closing night for that film, that season. I think it takes many runs to get to where I am now, and where I think is the most suitable place for people to meet up and to come to the festivals. It just take a lot of grassroots marketing.
Yep.
I did not have the budget to go out and buy front front page ads or do
Mhm.
anything. And also 2015, e-marketing was still a little bit in the early stage. Maybe a lot of people were already up there, but for me, I'm just a little boutique film festival.
Mhm.
So I did not want to go over the board with a lot of things. I only market to the people that I know they are interested.
Right.
So I reach out to a lot of different ethnic groups. I partner with a lot of schools that have an Asian studies focus.
Right.
So of course, all the Asian content specific groups are my first round of targeting group. So that's how I start and lay the ground. And gradually, it's really word of mouth.
Yeah.
Come to one screening, they thought it was fun. And also, I must say, at that time, there were not too many Asian films were shown in the theater on the big screen.
Right.
Okay, there was some limited art house run of certain film, but some of them are really very artsy film because they were picked for the art house
Right.
cinema.
Right.
And my film's a little bit more a popular film, a combined of a lot of genre. Could be family, could be romance, could be even sci-fi, fantastic, fantasy thing, and maybe it was almost like the beginning of Netflix you are seeing now. What you
Mhm.
see on Netflix.
Right.
So I sort of paved that, groom those people and keep building them. And it was season after season, from 500 subscribers to another 200 more, another season. And also I make the commitment to do it twice a year. I think that I'm already small. If I
Right.
wait another year, people will forget about what I did already 1 year
Right.
ago. So I started twice a year. I sort of in your face. I keep coming back. I use all my social media, the free marketing tools I have.
Right. Right.
And I come to you in the spring and I come again in the fall. I keep coming out. I keep
Yeah.
coming out program after the program. So, and then once I build up the audience, then I can go and invite the guests to come over, because I don't want anybody to come over here to an empty house, right?
Right. Right.
It's very important. And of course, right from the beginning, I always knew it's a lot of trust given to me by
Mhm.
the filmmakers and the distributors to give their film for us to show. Whether I'm showing it for competition level or not competition, I have to be respectful. I have to show it professionally. I have to do it in the right place and the right light,
Mhm.
and give every film its own pitch, right?
Right.
So all the spotlight are there and ready. Then we brought the guests coming over. I think it started around a few more seasons. I don't remember exactly. I have to go back to all my books because now I'm season 14.
Yeah. Yes.
So
That's fantastic.
my guests keep coming
Right.
back. So I think right before pandemic, I have almost 80% of my film, maybe 25 films for the season. 80% it was attended with a filmmakers.
Oh,
It
that's
could be
great.
the director. I even invited the producer sometime.
Mhm.
Sometimes the director also is the script writer, or their partner is the script writer. So the husband and wife team show up. So it's very cool. And I also had leading actress converted to make their first debut film directing. That's a Thai actress, very interesting.
Mhm.
I even brought a art director once because I find that particular element in that film is so interesting, so creative, and that probably make the film, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So the art director was so thrilled. He said, "No film festival ever invited me." So, but it is what it is. My goal is really not just to be a marketing purpose. I
Right.
really want to make the best out of what I could get from that content.
Yeah.
If this is a content I could bridge something out of it, I do it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. And just to backtrack a little bit about what you were saying, in terms of being in Chicago or have what do we have access to here, right? And okay, so we have Netflix, which obviously their international selection has grown and grown every year. It's and which is amazing. I love watching things with subtitles and learning about different cultures. My wife and I really enjoy that aspect, but we don't have the option, like you're saying, to see these things on a big screen, which is a great niche, to be in, because like you mentioned, there are like art houses that will show art films, but that's a very specific crowd, and you're showing these pop films, from different countries in Asia. Can you talk a little bit about this season? Some of the films that you're excited about, or that have been shown, so we can hear a little bit about season 14.
Well, season 14 is probably the first season after the pandemic, or we would say under the circumstances with the pandemic, living with the pandemic. I have almost 40% of the film are showing in the cinema now. I don't have anything in the drive-in. I did that for a couple seasons back, 2021. First of all, the weather is not really conducive to have an outdoor screening in Chicago in spring. And also for the fact that I noticed weekend timing is better. People are willing to come out. The afternoon matinees work better. So I brought most of the films that are not on streaming anywhere else to be shown physically in the cinema. So this season, now I'm at the end of it. I have 4 more shows this coming weekend. It's all Taiwanese film.
Okay, great.
I'm very excited about it because I basically have a little wrap up of a Taiwan culture there. Mm-hmm. The first film is about marriage in problem. When you're married, people think about marriage as a curse. But I ended with the last one. It's the most romantic and sweet love story of young people falling in love. So I give you the 2 spectrum of it. and then in the middle, I show this Trick or Treat. It's actually a remake of a Korean film, and it's a mashup of all genres. You can see the Hong Kong action in it. You can see everything in it. It's so mashed up that you thought you're going to be not liking it. But it's so cool. In the end, everything worked because the director did not take it too serious. He did not make it serious because he didn't take himself too serious. Yeah. He told this story, and with the fantastic cast, it's just so fun. It's called Treat or Trick. So that's one. And then another one it's a love story. Mm-hmm. But this is an interesting love story because it's about a young ex-convict, come back out, finding his new life again, and met a woman, an older woman. So, but he went back to his old boss, who now become a government agency guy that helping to bridge, like a campaign office, serving some government. Campaigning for them, and at the same time be the office to answer people's demand and questions. And guess who was, do you know Tsai Ming-liang, the very famous author, director in Taiwan? And his muse, the guy who's been collaborating with him all this film, is playing this mature guy.
Wow. Okay.
Li Kang-shen is now the boss now. Yeah. But it's so quirky. This whole film is so quirky. And even that love story is very subtle, but you get it, right. And again, the chemistry of all these people in all this film, all these 4 films are so good. It's showing the biggest talent of Taiwan from young to the older. Yeah. A wide range of it. I absolutely love them.
And so if audience members want to come and check these films out, are there still tickets available?
Yeah.
Okay, so
we still have tickets available. It's not a lot of ticket because we are not making a big house. We want to make it intimate so that people can join. So all you have to do, go to our website, asianpopupcinema.org. You find all the information for this movie. And for the closing night, because it's the closing night, we're going to have an after tea party.
Oh, great.
Because the film title is Waiting for My Cup of Tea.
That's fantastic.
And
I
also
love it.
because I have a lot of young audience in the house, so I
Yeah.
don't want to serve, alcoholic drinks.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I love tea. My wife and I love having tea at night.
Yeah, please let me know. I love to invite you or
Yeah.
your colleagues to come
Yeah.
and join us to have a toast with us.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the end of
wonderful.
season 14. It's 4 weeks run. Is simply amazing.
Yeah.
I must say one more thing I did this season that
Yeah.
I never had this experience
Tell
as a
us.
film festival organizer. Is one of the film that we premiere that not even shown in Hong Kong yet. Starred 2 young actors in it. It's their first silver screen debut.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, 2 of them were from the same boy band called Mirror in Hong Kong. Mirror is made of 12 boy bands, but one of them, 12 members in it, they become so popular. To tell you the truth, I didn't know who they are.
Right.
I only sometimes get the YouTube saw them.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love the film. I love the performance. And I said, oh, these 2 talent was very good. The story I love. So I picked the film, I show it. I didn't know they have fans throughout the North America.
Oh, wow.
The whole show booked out within 2 days. I
Oh
didn't
my gosh.
even notice it. I just announced it. Wow, 2 days later. And God knows who were coming. These are really serious fan club people.
Yeah.
They come from everywhere from the United States.
Yeah.
They drove, they flew, and from Canada, Vancouver, Toronto, New York, everywhere they came. They brought all their gadgets and all their toys. So if you go to my Facebook, just look at that page about that recap of that page. It was amazing.
That's wild. And you had no idea.
I had no idea.
You had no idea.
When I picked the film, I really had no. I keep talking to the film distributor. I said, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
But it was an amazing because I brought so many people and they occupied the AMC River East, the lobby. They have a little circular area. They turned that into their fan club event.
Wow.
I make a big poster for them, and I gave them the poster to take home, and they took so many pictures. They brought all their little toys, stuffy toy of the idols they love. They sang along in the end. They brought the neon lights. Oh my God.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
That's so incredible.
So I learned
that's a great story.
A great story. I learned it was my festival's first interactive experience with a big fan group.
Right. That's great. Well, congratulations on that. So before we wrap up, this has been an amazing conversation. And everyone, I'm just going to put the website below again, Asian Pop-Up Cinema. Sophia is bringing very important cultural experiences to us here locally. And I think that the work is important and the cinema looks incredible. So definitely go and check out what she's doing. But before we leave today, I just wanted to, talk to you about some advice that you would give to, a young film person who wants to put together a film festival or build a film community around a certain subject. Some of the things that you found helpful, I definitely have already picked out, know your audience, find your niche, focus on that. Is there anything else that you've kind of learned along the way as you're building these seasons?
I think commitment and passion for being a film festival host or organizer is very important because it definitely labor for love. Okay. Right. Unless you want to set yourself up as a commercial outfit, then it's a different thing because our goal and mission is really create increase the interest and awareness of Asian culture. So we are a nonprofit. So we do it a little bit differently, and you do need a lot of commitment and passion. And I must say the biggest experience, a lesson I myself learned is to how to survive during the pandemic. How you are able to adapt, remodel, reimagine, and come back out differently. I think the advantage I had is I'm not a super big organization. Super big organization, they can deal with it too, because they got army of people and army of funding behind it. But for a small boutique film festival, we are always struggle with the money to start with and lack of manpower. So you have to be very creative. So the first thing, how to right away get on a virtual program, because that's actually a very natural transition. And once you get there, it's actually better for you, because we like it or not, streaming virtual program is going to stay.
Yep, absolutely.
And and then you have to really keep observing and keep abreast with what's happening around you, what's happening in the market. If you are in the streaming, you are looking at Netflix as your competitor. What is in their program? What are the people liking to see? What's the trend? And then if you are in the in-person screening, then you have to think about the audience, leaving your house, getting a car, parking somewhere, or go to a transport and come to the theater and spend time with you for 2 hours.
Right.
You have to respect their time, especially now, as everybody is so busy and there are so many things to do. How do we make it special for them? How do we make their trip worth their while? So you have to put a lot more that kind of thought instead of just picking a film. Every film behind it, you have to think about whether or not your audience will come for it. So always remember that. Who are you serving and how are you serving, and makes the best you can do.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia. This has been a wonderful conversation. I'm very grateful to be connected with you and to have learned about Asian pop-up cinema. It's just great what you're doing, and even just kind of learning from you about how to build a boutique, film festival, and what are some of the things that you've been doing. So thank you again so much for taking the time to come and talk to us here at CCE.
Thank you very much, and thank you for hearing, whoever you are, and have a good day.
Well, there you have it, everyone. That's Sophia Wang Boccio of Asian Pop-Up Cinema. What a great conversation. She obviously has a lot of insight and knowledge and expertise, by just building something that's not been built before. And she's bridging the gap with the East and West by bringing Asian kind of pop films to Chicago for us to see in the big screen, to meet directors, to meet, the film industry that is happening over there. I mean, this is really important stuff. One, it puts Chicago on a global map, but it also just helps us, learn about new cultures and have a cultural experience, which we all could use all the time. So, again, my name is Daniel Crane. I'm the program director for the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. We're focusing on helping creative entrepreneurs build things. We're currently piloting and in beta online learning platform that will be launched pretty soon. So we're excited about that. We're going to continue with our global industry spotlights, talking to amazing people like Sophia. And we have some in-person events coming up. So go to our website at cceglobal.org. Click on events, see what's happening. Wishing everyone a great rest of the day, and we will talk with you soon. Ciao.